There we go. Okay, I will call the Thursday, March 16th regular meeting of Columbia Open Space Committee to order. And Chris, you are taking minutes.
Yes, I am.
Good for you. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of February 16th.
So moved. I'll second.
Okay, got that. Any additions, corrections? No? All in favor? Okay, so far, nobody has tried to get in. It's neat. So, we'll move on. I heard a rumor that we were going to hear from Kim or Honor, so just leave that there and move on. Since we don't have Mark Walter or Rob Hellstrom, I have no idea about, the updates on the surveys or anything like that. So we will table and if they band, we'll table Mint Brook Preserve.
You're making the notes very easy to take.
I know it.
Moving right along.
We're gonna be out of here in no time.
Except for one thing, I want to combine Mint Brook and Friends of Mile Pond State Park activities. The Friends put in to the town budget and hopefully will receive a $2,000 grant from the town to reimburse the startup costs for the 501c3 that came out of pocket. And so we're hoping that will go through.
That was 2000?
Yeah, it's 2,000. Because, I'd hate to have somebody sitting around here waiting to get in. I don't see anything. Okay. Also, the Conservation Agriculture Commission voted to appoint Tom Rapp as the head steward of Mount Pond State Park and also the Mint Brook Preserve. The Mint Brook Preserve, that's pretty straightforward. The state-owned land is in the current agreement, the current management plan with the state. Columbia Conservation Commission is responsible for the stewardship end of that. And there's subdivision, like the state takes care of big things like the dams, but the Conservation Commission sort of cleans up the trails and that kind of thing. So because that land management plan is still in effect, we appointed Tom as the head steward. And then he will get volunteers so that there are boots on the ground, eyes on the property, and it gives Tom a little bit of authority to do something. So,
Chase after ATVs.
right, if he wants to, he can stand out there and say, don't drive your ATV.
Now, I know I voted for that. So I'd ask the question, so did we include also all the trails on the other incidental parcels that the town owns in town, or is it just for Mint-Brook and Monopod?
Just Minbrook, he's already head steward of Zeta Farm, and I'm head steward of, the Rec Park Trails, and
Okay, so it's just for those two.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just for those,
Yeah.
and we haven't really, I don't know, did we do, I don't think we've appointed anybody to Hot River yet. I think at the moment that's kind of John. But I don't think there's a formal appointee, but anyway, he's good in Wellswood area, and it's his backyard, so he's a good one to be the steward. Okay, back up Pine Street parking, I think we're still on hold. And does anybody have any other, no? Okay. Hot River Trail Alliance, I don't know. I did have no, I know nothing about Hot River. The 12-town Airline Trail Alliance is the, our rec director, Deb Fisk, is the town liaison for that group, along with Tom McGrath. But Deb is the official appointee to handle that. And it occurred to me that she probably doesn't know any history, probably doesn't know much about rail trails since her background is basketball. So I drop in on her now and again and lay pearls of wisdom. I brought her the, I'm a member of the East Coast Greenway and the National Rails Trail. So I get their newsletters and little magazines. So I dropped one off for her, just give her an idea of what's possible on a rail trail. So that'll encourage her to think in that direction.
And what's her name again, Ann?
Deborah, Debra, Fiske, Fiske.
Thank you.
And she's our recreation director. Okay, so the Hot River Preserve is on hold, waiting to see if we make it through the budget. We did submit for a number of things, but I have to specify that those to that proposal. Salmon River and news,
Nothing new,
no,
no meeting. Anyway, for spring.
yep. And there will be several events.
Well, now, there are, I get advised of upcoming events where Patricia has a table. And
Yeah.
Is that something that we should be advertising? I mean, would you like to know? Should I send out an email with that stuff? Or forward an email to everybody?
But it wouldn't hurt.
Well, these are volunteer activities, you know, at fairs, town fairs, and
Right,
maybe the Maple Festival. I'm not sure what the next one was, but there's one in Ludus, I know, a big one she's talking about.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hurt. I'll just summarize it and forward it to everybody.
okay. that would be good. And if we ever have an event in Columbia like that,
Well, with the farmer's market, they used to have a tent, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
but we don't have a farmer's market anymore. 'Cause,
The partnership
We ran
set
it.
people up.
yes,
Hmm.
that's where I met Pat. She was tabling next to me. Anyway, if the town has something like that, we should consider a conservation table, a open space table, a salmon river, you know. I'm gonna have one big table with the whole thing, but we should definitely,
Maybe at the Lions Club Chicken Barbecue. That's about the only.
Do they have tabling?
Other than the parade.
yeah, the parade's not,
Yeah, so.
but chicken barbecue, that's a good idea. Okay. Let's see. Cod Farm. Poor Kristen. She's trying to fight Eversource. Eversource made a mess of her farm. They cut down her blueberries and her sunflowers. They cost her at upwards of $40,000 because she could not pasture the horses under the power lines for most of the summer because they set up their whole operation for several, for the entire section under her farm. And she couldn't put the horses out there because they're lifting helicopters. The horses were crazy. So she had to move the horses to other places, and she couldn't pasture them, nor could she cut hay. And so she had to buy hay in the summer to feed the horses. And she had to buy hay again for the winter because she didn't have enough hay. So she's trying to fight Eversource, which is like,
Oh, good luck.
yeah, you can't fight Eversource. So she's working on that. She's a little distracted and discouraged. So we're off track on her purchase of development rights. Good. And because she's distracted, the survey is done. She's got that done, but she hasn't hired a lawyer to file it and sign off. And so, long story short, we're still on hold.
Of course, that would help her reimburse that loss.
Well, it would. Oh, and not only that, but the price of hay went up, the price of her boarding had to go up. And so many of the horses that she boards are these aging pack horses where the little girl who used to ride it is now going off to college and beyond. And the horse is hanging on and can't ride them. They don't want to sell them because the little girl now grown up owns the horse. But it's cost a lot of money to feed a horse and shoot him. And so instead of, during the last year or two, an awful lot of these owners of the aging horses have opted to put the horse down. And so she, in addition to losing income from Eversource, she's also losing income from. So she's in a pickle. But all things work together, maybe she'll be very hot this month. The development, we'll see. Okay, that's probably much more than you needed to know. Now you know. Okay, any other old business? Any reports from the rest of you guys? Oh, okay, new business, we need to fundraise. We're TAO. Because even, open space acquisition moves at a glacial pace. How many years have they been doing this? 20 at least. And we all got really excited when we had those 2 or 3 acquisitions recently. And recently, but 2 or 3 years ago now. And nothing has happened since. And everybody gets a little tired. And they think, well, we're all going to sleep, right? But Honor is still working on this. She's still working on getting input in there with the master plan. She's still working with the state. She's still got, all the 3 missing acquisitions on that burner. She's still working on the big acquisition in Lebanon. You see, she's still working, and she needs to have her salary paid for.
Okay, my subcommittee on fundraising. I tried to get Tom McGrath to come over to my house before this meeting today to talk to him about what an idea I had was, and he didn't because he said he wasn't coming to the meeting today for whatever reason.
Yeah, please.
Here's the idea I have, and I don't take full credit for it, but I'm participating the I don't know exactly what it's called, the flower club of the mill, Wyndham Mill or something. They have that walk.
On the bridge.
The bridge.
Start on the bridge.
Flowers on the bridge, yeah. Okay, and in April, they're gonna have, what they've done is they've invited artists, which I'm participating, to take photographs or paintings or whatever of that area, the mill area and this garden walk. You guys ever been down there? Yeah, really nice area. And oh man, I went there yesterday morning because I thought after all the snow, I might get a nice picture. There was no snow in the
No,
I mean,
didn't
it
stop
was
there.
thick as could be on the trees at my house. Unbelievable, and nothing in there. But anyway, the river is roaring through there. But they want artists to produce some work. And then there's gonna be a 2-hour silent auction, I think, at the senior center in April, where these items will be sold. And I think that they take a percentage for, whatever. And I just thought, this is a really good idea. That if we had a similar project where we invite artists, whether they do Monopon or just Columbia or anything, I don't think it matters. But we have an auction at the winery, just like the event we had for the trust at the winery, and the proceeds from that sale would go to the trust. And I think that skirts the awkwardness of money being collected by the friends and given, which I don't think they can really do, give to the trust. But if you had basically a fundraiser for the trust, being held at the winery, and people, it's just not giving money, they're getting something for it, they're getting you know, presumably a nice work of art or something, and, you know. I don't know, I just think it would be a really good idea. And I wanted to talk to Tom about it, because I think that probably the summer books up really fast at the winery. And to, you know, and that we need to coordinate with the honor and find a date that would work.
And how do you find the artists?
I think, well, on Facebook, you know, everything Columbia, I don't think it would be hard. There's this Wyndham Arts Council, where an announcement through them would just cover, I mean, the Wyndham Arts Council covers the whole greater area. And I don't think it'd be hard.
How many articles would you think you need to raise enough amount of money that was worthwhile? 20, 15, 30?
Hey, one sells for big bucks. All you need is two people that want it. That's the way auctions work. I don't know. I mean, I guess you just take a shot at it and see how it goes. You know? But I think that people would, what interests me is that rather than just saying we're having a fundraiser, come give money, come donate money. I mean, there are people that will, but there are a lot of people that just would hold back. But if they're actually buying something and that's making a contribution to the trust, then I think that would go a long way.
Yeah, that's always better, I think, when somebody gets something tangible, and you can be multifaceted too, like, I like that idea, and then you combine it with some sort of gift baskets that people can put in tickets for and buy tickets for, and then you create a QR code where they can scan it, and if they just want to do a cash donation, they can do a cash donation, like, you could look at 3 or 4 different things in one event, and that increases your odds, so. Good.
And they have, I think the state has maybe, I don't know if they still have him, but the trust at that time had one guy that was devoted to fundraising. And he was kind of hustling when he was there that day. But yeah, I think that would be a start. And I really do believe that we need to make an effort that the trust has to see that Columbia is invested in this and in their time and everything. And, you know, or else other communities that like Greenwich have millions for open space, you know, can just.
I don't know if it's within our charter to raise money and give it to the trust. Can the trust be the sponsor of it? And so
Oh, yeah,
we
yeah.
can commit directly to the trust.
Yeah,
I'm just suggesting that the Friends organize it, but no, it's essentially a fundraiser for the trust, just like the other one was.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so money is going directly to them.
Yeah. Good.
It's just that, you know, the Friends can do the, you know, talk to honor, work out the days, talk to, you know.
have you asked Honor if they have a director of philanthropy?
No, I would have today, but
Because I asked that question in an email and she didn't answer.
What was the question?
Um,
Do they have?
The Trust for Public Land Connecticut office had a director, a director of philanthropy. In other words, a fundraiser. And he left town and then they had another one. And we were all set. I met with him, I met with Walt. We were gonna do another thing at the winery. And then COVID shut us down. And I haven't, I don't know what happened to that guy. I suspect he moved on to.
That's all easy to find out.
Well, we think she answers.
Well, of course,
Theoretically.
on paper, right?
But that's a good
But
idea. You
that's-
think they would have resources that you could lean on for that, so.
Well, Honor offered to meet with us to help us develop some ideas too.
I know.
That's all, she said that in the new year.
This has been on the agenda. She gets an agenda.
Hmm.
And I said, you know, we're gonna talk fundraising. We need some help. You know, we're ready to go. Just we need a little direction.
Who spearheaded the last one? As far as
Their director.
that they got involved
Yeah,
Mm.
making the arrangements with the winery.
Yes.
And now you're thinking the Friends ought to do that.
Yeah,
In coordination with,
well, we're with Honor, even if Honor is by herself now, I mean, we really don't know. I mean, she hasn't talked an awful lot about. I mean, there's, what's her boss's name? She has an issue. Walker, yeah,
Walker.
Walker Homes. There may just be the two of them in Haven, I don't know. But I don't think it matters. I mean, if Honor shows up and just represents them and we get some money for them, I think that's all to the good.
Yeah, I think, I have no idea. I'm sure we're not gonna get $1 million, but if we are, I think we'll just spend it. No, I digress. I don't think we'll get, $1 million, but I think that if we get some sizable sum, that at least that shows that we've made an effort,
Yes,
that we're not just.
I think that's what's important.
And plus, Columbia's been quite invested in this because we picked up 1, 2, 3 or 4 of the properties we just bought out. Because we bought Robinson, Marianne. Yeah, it's 3 outright.
Yeah.
Or undesignated fund balance.
yeah, but that was the low hanging fruit. Yeah.
It was.
Now we're to the tough stuff
Now, these are bigger
and more difficult, yeah.
and much more difficult. Okay. Does anybody have any other great ideas for fundraising? Because that's a very good idea.
Mhm. Yeah, I like that idea.
And we're right behind you.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give you a hypothetical, this is way out of the field. It's probably nothing that we could even do. But one of the things that comes up on every meeting is the instances of ATVs. And if you look at conservation in general, one of the biggest contributions to conservation is hunting. So lots of those things, sometimes people butt heads, they think that one thing can't support the other, but a lot of times it does. I wonder if there's any potential partnership with ATV users or riders. See, so when I lived in the Midwest for a little while, and they had great partnerships in that instance where they actually set aside property and land that sometimes was publicly owned for the use of ATVs, that way they could control it. That would be interesting for the long term to think about. So the state of Connecticut provides some challenges around that. I don't even know if it could be done, but if there was clubs or partnerships, because conservation is shared by a lot of those people, even though they wouldn't be natural, like people wouldn't think of them as natural bed partners, but I see that constantly coming up and maybe it's something to consider, so.
I think one of the problems with ATVs and the bikes, the trail bikes, is your terrain, unlike the Midwest. We're so hilly and everything and all that there's so much erosion. I mean, they tear through there and it just spoils the geography. That's, I think, a really big problem for them. It's not that you're trying to, I mean, you hate ATVers. It's just that I don't think that most of the land out there is really suitable. I mean, it's fun for them, but, people who have walked it have said that, well, you're out there all the time, you know, that there's just a lot of erosion, a lot of problems with it.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be appropriate in the areas that we're talking about trying to conserve, but there may be areas where it's legal for them to ride, or maybe to bus something that's open space, no, you're not in Columbia, but it would just be an interesting thing to research to see if there's any overlap there, because we know ATV riders want to ride on those trails,
Yes,
you know,
they do.
whether it's illegal or not, and maybe there's a legal and appropriate avenue to have that, because there's money on that side of what people do. So just a thought.
No, that is a good thought. I went to, are you familiar with SCORE? What does it stand for? State of Connecticut Outdoor Recreation Program. So when I was recreation director, I went to the SCORE hearings. It's like the green plan, land conservation and development, these kinds of things where they update them every 5 years or something. So, and we have hearings, and this happened to be a state one, so they had a hearing over Yukon, so I tried over there to tune in. And the ATVers were there in full force. So were the
Was there a group?
disc golf.
Was there an organized group? 'Cause that's what I don't know anything about, you know.
Yeah, usually there are, I'm not really
Yeah,
familiar with it, but
clubs.
yeah, there's usually
Clubs,
clubs,
yeah.
like Jeep clubs and ATV clubs.
And anyway, they were there and they said, we have so many members in our club and we would like a place to ride. So when we started this project, I thought, well, they're already out there. And maybe those old roads are a good place. But the minute I mentioned that, everybody went.
Yeah, see, that's the problem, you gotta,
And
it's more of a perception issue sometimes than a real issue, like,
well, yes and no.
but it goes both ways, right? Yeah, but I don't think it should be just shut out, like, oh gosh, that's gonna be terrible for everything, because it's not always terrible. But you may not have the land to do it in to begin with either, so it's just something to explore, but.
But it's when they started bringing up the big trucks
Mhm.
with them.
Yeah, that, you need a special
Because
place.
You know, on the edge of the Robbins property, there's like this, well, it's almost a lake now. You probably got to swim it today.
At the intersection.
Yes. The trucks just, and they love to turn. So, you know, but up in Maine, there are like miles and miles and miles of logging trails
Oh, yeah.
that go way into the forest. And they have a good relationship, I don't know about ATVs, but with snowmobilers.
Yeah, in the summer it's usually ATVs, so like the Bass Trails in Vermont and then into New Hampshire and stuff, like summer it's ATVs, winter it's snowmobiles, they have great relationships, they have rules, you gotta follow the rules, but. You know,
Yeah, but they stay on basic trails and roads.
Sure. yeah,
They're
Yeah.
not freewheeling it out in the woods.
no, they're maintained for that.
Yeah, I mean, we could allow them to run on the abandoned roads in Wells Woods, you know, that probably wouldn't be too bad. But, you know, it's going off trail that's the problem with much.
Yeah, well, whatever. But if it's not an ATV group, what other kind of group? Because I dearly want hunters in there.
You do? Well,
Yes.
Yes, see, that would be another very good partnership. What about, horse riding clubs and stuff like? do
Yeah.
we-
That on the, main roads. That's why, when the wheels turn finally at their glacial pace and we start developing this overall plan for Westwood, we need to invite the hunters, we need to invite the mountain bikers, the ATVers, come in and say your piece, you know. And get all of the stakeholders here, and we can get as many partners as possible. Because, you know, when we started up the Friends of Mon Pond, I had a connection that I had made at a CLCC conference with the New England Northeast Mountain Biking Club. So we got her to, I contacted her, and she came and was an initial stakeholder. We haven't heard from her since. But that's still viable. And now that we've involved INVA, that would be. So that's group, any other groups? I think we need to develop a good relationship with the horse farm that's right there already.
Yeah, we have so many horse farms in Columbia to begin with, that would be a good, and I mean, the more, you know, the more you have those discussions and open it up to different groups that maybe you even wouldn't think would be natural partnerships, that's where you fall asleep tonight and you wake up and it's 3 years later and you're like, oh, we've created these relationships. Now there's additional fundraising opportunities because they have events that you can piggyback off of.
Exactly.
So I think that one of the misconceptions, like that there's this battle between conservation, open space, and then some of those other activities. And by partnering, it kind of pulls down that wall a little bit,
Right,
probably helps everybody.
right, because this is a state and town park.
Mhm.
And we want as many people as possible to enjoy. And because of its proximity to the airline, it's like a no-brainer to put that mountain. Okay,
Okay.
any other great ideas? Okay, let us know how we can help you.
All right, well, I put out another feeler to Tom, trying to
Yeah.
come over and talk.
He's good contact.
Do you have contacts at the Wind Art Group? Are you showing at this one coming up? Is there a way to find out how how it does, you know, what kind of money is involved? How successful is it, I guess?
Yeah, well, sure. Well, I'll know in April. I think it's mid-April.
If you sell anything.
We'll see. We'll see. You never know.
And Columbia has its own artist, you know, circle too.
Yeah, Andrea,
It's just small,
it's small, but if you get, we've got one Columbia artist and you get one or two more.
Oh, I'm sure, I don't think there'll be we've got a neighbor, Kim, who's a painter. I'm sure she would participate,
There you go.
Mhm.
you know,
well, it's certainly worth a try.
yeah.
It is. And then you get other artists and then
Mm.
other mediums. Get somebody to carve an eagle or something. Don't we have a chainsaw carver in town?
Not that I know of.
No, yeah.
Really?
Well, we have, I don't know if you're still there. How's ask Andrea,
Hmm.
she might, although Andrea is hurting right now,
Hmm.
waiting for her hip replacement. Which she put up, wait, I took. Okay, any other business?
I'm just curious with the, planning and zoning, any update on discussions with that?
No, we've had 0 subcommittees, I think, in the last 2 months. So there was a hiccup for pure transparency. We were meeting and nothing really was fully accomplished. We were having discussions.
Mhm.
And then we found out that they do have to be open to the public. So the next ones that occur, I'm trying to get with Rick to schedule them, which has been a challenge. So the next ones will be open. The subcommittee meetings will be open to the public. So I'll let you guys know when that'll occur. I don't know if it'll be like the hour before a normal meeting or another day, but they'll most likely be here. But not, we've been so busy with the 2 public hearings that.
They've been well
Yes.
attended though, very well attended.
Very well attended. Once these are done, there'll be less attendance, I can guarantee you.
I drove by there one day, by the
Mhm.
site. What a great place for a wedding facility. But I don't live on that road, so I have to be careful. It's tough. Well, yeah.
Okay,
Okay, I move, we adjourn,
second.
all in favor?
Aye.
What do you-